Okay, welcome everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order, that being the regular council meeting of Warwick Township. Today's date, March 4th, 2024 at 3:30. Remind council of disclosure of pecuniary interest or conflict of interest. Does anybody have one they want to declare at this particular time? Seeing none, thank you. Also want to welcome everybody who's tuning in through the Warwick Township YouTube channel. And now I'm going to do our acknowledgement of ancestral lands. We acknowledge that the land on which we are gathered here today, Township of Warwick, is located on the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, as well as the many Indigenous nations in Ontario whose footsteps have marked them for centuries. We also wish to acknowledge that we are situated on Treaty 29 and Treaty 25 territories signed by Chippewa chiefs and offer our respect and gratitude for these lands. I'm going to take you to number 5 on the agenda, council. And that's minutes from the February 12th council meeting. Does anybody have any questions on that particular meeting? Seeing that, I entertain a motion. Councillor Morris, seconded by Councillor Manning. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Let's go to business arising from those previous minutes. I don't believe there's any. Deputy Clerk, very good. Thank you. And now we're going to go to number 7, council, and that's scheduled meetings and events. 7A, did anybody have any question on 7A in the list that's there? Seeing none, how about 7B? Anybody have any questions on 7B? Seeing none, thank you. Let's go to number 8 if we can on the agenda, and that's councillors' commitments and other items. Councillors' commitment dates. Did anybody have anything they wish to add to the list? Deputy Mayor Kellenberg.
I just need to change. I'll be away from September 2nd to the 16th now, not the 1st to the 14th. That's all I have to update now.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Did anybody else have anything that they wish to update at this time? Seeing none, if you have, just get a hold of the clerk or deputy clerk and they'll update that for our records. I'm going to go to councillor items if I can. Today, I'm going to start with Councillor Morris. Councillor Morris, did you have anything for today?
No, I just wanted to thank Andrew for the roads. They're in real good shape. Keep the graders going. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Joe, or Councillor Manning, did you have anything?
I have nothing today. Thanks.
Deputy Mayor Kellenberg.
Yeah, just a couple of things, just to keep council in the loop. I've been involved with the Sarnia-Lambton Workforce Development Board. They contacted me last fall, and it's really exploring current and future workforce needs in ag and ag-based businesses. So we've gone through a whole section. We just kind of finished it up here last week. We had a final report, but we were working on recruitment and retention challenges. Some of the key findings is transportation, basic ag machinery operation, and some of the points is promoting ag education back in high school, training programs for new ag technologies, and health and safety programs specific to ag. So just to keep you in the loop, we're working on that, hoping to be able to find some solutions. And also, I'll be going to the Farmland Ag Forum on March 26th in Elora, just to deal with the planners and whatnot for ag. That's it.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor Kellenberg. I have a couple things, or pardon me, Councillor Westgate. I'm sorry, you're on Zoom today, joining us from holidays. I apologize. Go ahead, Jerry.
I have nothing. Thank you, Dad.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll keep an eye on the screen so I don't forget Councillor Westgate. So I have a couple things. We still continue to have complaints from ratepayers when it comes to Canada Post and dealing with the PO box issue. I had another complaint today from another resident. As everybody knows, we've met now with them twice formally, trying to get them to fix the situation here. So it's much more easier for our residents to use. They did tell us over a year ago that they had a solution and they were working towards it, told us to give them a calendar year. Now we're into another calendar year. We still have the same issue. We still have lots of businesses that are also experiencing a tough time with Canada Post and trying to get goods and services back and forth as well. And again, the continuing issue of the PO box issue. So anyways, the next council meeting, I'll be bringing forward I will be bringing forward a resolution for council's consideration when it comes to Canada Post once again. The other piece is the natural gas issue and the fact that we continue to be underserviced. We continue to try to work with the Minister of Energy, Todd Smith, and his staff back and forth. Now it looks like the government's taking a bit of a turn in the road and looking at more the different electrical technologies for which we do not have the grid in rural Warwick to support. So there is a resolution that I would like to read, and I'll make it a motion and I'll read it. And if I get a seconder to it, we can have a discussion. So the resolution goes like this. Whereas access to natural gas is important to residents and businesses in our community for affordability and reliability. Whereas the Ontario Energy Board's OEB decision on phase one of the Enbridge Gas 2024 rebasing application issued on December 21st, 2023 has concerning implications, including putting into question the future access of natural gas that support the economic development, affordable housing growth, and other business and reliability in communities such as Warwick Township. And whereas Ontario is growing and access to affordable energy to support this growth for homes and businesses is crucial and is a measured approach to energy transition, as not having access to natural gas will stifle economic growth and put housing and energy affordability at risk. Now, therefore, it be resolved. Number one, that the Corporation of the Township of Warwick supports a measured approach to Ontario's energy transition, and that the Corporation of the Township of Warwick recognizes that there are many not being enough, that there's not enough electricity available to replace the energy provided by natural gas to meet the increased demand from electrification. Two, that natural gas must continue to play an integral role in meeting the energy needs of rural Ontario. Three, that the Corporation of the Township of Warwick supports the work the government of Ontario has done to date, including the natural gas expansion program and electrification and energy transition panels call for a clear policy on a role of natural gas to secure access to affordable energy. And number four, that the resolution be circulated to the President of AMO, Colin Best, the Honorable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario, Honorable Todd Smith, the Ministry of Energy, and member of provincial parliament. It says Lambton, Kent, Middlesex here, but we do not have a member still. Another bit of a sore point. So I'm going to replace that with the member of parliament for Sarnia, Lambton, and all regional municipalities, as well as significant actors to ensuring that the need of natural gas in Ontario as part of a measured approach towards energy transition in Ontario. So that is a mouthful. Do I have a seconder to that? Councillor Morris, any further discussion on the motion, council? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And that's all I have for today. Let's move on, if we can, to number 9, and that's staff items. And we have a verbal update from Amanda Gubbles on the OGRA delegation request. And Amanda is joining us by Zoom today. Amanda, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Case. Just wanted to advise council that in consultation with Mayor Case, we do have a number of delegation requests for planning to submit for the OGRA conference, and just wanted to update council and ask if there were any additional. So far, we have planned the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks related to the proposed expansion at Twin Creeks Landfill, the Ministry of Energy related to natural gas and hydro expansion in our municipality, as well as OMAFRA related to CN and municipal drains. And it is also my understanding that through LAWS, our water organization, there will be a delegation submitted to the Ministry of Infrastructure.
All right. Well, thank you, Amanda. Is there anything, council, that we need to address that maybe we've left out of that request list that anybody can think of? No? Very good. Well, thank you. Everybody's good with the ask that we've made? Very good. Okay, Amanda, I guess we're good to continue with that. Let's go on to 9B if we can. And that's a verbal update from Amanda regarding Community Emergency Preparedness Grant. Amanda?
Thank you, Mayor Case. So the regret letter is attached with the agenda. Unfortunately, we were not successful in our application to the Community Emergency Preparedness Grant. We will still, of course, continue on our emergency management programming and priorities for the year, but just wanted to ensure council was kept advised. We have submitted a response back asking for an update so we can better understand why we were not successful to better position us for the future.
Okay, thank you very much, Amanda. Did anybody have any questions Amanda, did they send out a list of approved municipalities quite often through a press release or something? They will send out a list of approved municipalities when it comes to a grant? Did we see anything like that officially?
To date, as of Friday, I had not seen one or been made aware, although I do know there was a municipality in Lambton who was successful. We have asked our CMC group in Lambton to do kind of a review of who was successful and who wasn't in the county, but certainly we will also look for that larger list once it's available.
All right, thank you. It'd be interesting, I guess, food for thought to see who was approved and who wasn't. And we appreciate the fact you're doing your due diligence to find out perhaps why we didn't make the grade this time around. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions on that? Seeing none, let's go to C. And that's a verbal update from Trevor Jarrett, our Treasurer Deputy CAO, on Council's request for information on alternative finance options around the East Lambton Community Complex. Trevor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Case. At this time, it's not equitable for us to go forward on this because the penalties that we pay in interest would be higher than what it would save us. However, having said that, if there is interest adjustments this year, and I'm talking like marginal interest adjustments, we should revisit it. We're that close, so it can teeter one way or the other. So we'll keep it on our agenda of items to look at throughout the year.
All right, thank you. Did anybody else have any questions on that particular piece of business? Seeing none, I guess we'll wait and see what the interest rates do then. Thank you very much, Trevor. Okay, let's go to D, and that's a verbal update again from Trevor on letter received regarding Housing Accelerator Fund. Trevor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Case. This is a grant that we wrote for $3.8 million based upon needs and projected housing figures over the next 3 to 20 years. We were unsuccessful. I know of 3 municipalities in Lambton County who applied. All 3 of us, we worked together. We were all unsuccessful. There is no complete list of who got it yet. I know it was an oversubscribed fund, and we've requested a regroup with the feds to find out why we were unsuccessful, because we figure there's going to be further announcements coming down in the future. So we meet with them tomorrow morning to get some information on it so that we can strengthen our request going forward. What it means is we had a housing needs assessment study. I believe it was for $25,000 in the budget that will now be scrubbed, and that money will go back into general reserves.
All right, well, thank you, Trevor. Anybody have any questions on that item? Again, when the government offers up a small amount of money and every municipality is hungry for it, these are the things that happen. And we'll go from there. Maybe we'll be lucky enough to receive some money next time around. Very good. Okay, let's go to, well, we're going to go to delegations. We have a timed event at 4 o'clock. I think by the look of the clock being 3:45, John Van Oss is here with us. So John, if you wouldn't mind, we'll deal with your request now. If you want to come up front here, that would be great. You're welcome to come right up here if you'd like and sit beside me. And welcome, John. So please have a seat. And how this system works is that when I call on you, all you need to do is touch the microphone here, and then you'll be live, okay? So again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome John Van Oss from the Royal Canadian Legion, Branch 176 from Forest, and they're involved with our fundraising campaign for 2024. And John's here to make a presentation, and I believe he has a request for council. So John, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Case, and good evening or good afternoon to members of council. Yes, I'm here to ask for money. Put it simply. We are undertaking a building refurbishment and upgrades to the Forest Legion. We have a number of things that need to get done to keep the building viable. So I'll continue with my presentation. Again, my name is John Van Oss. I'm currently the Sergeant at Arms with the Forest Legion. I also have a number of different hats that I wear. Building committee chair being one, and the lottery committee chair being another. I've undertaken this somewhat as a volunteer, and primarily because of my background in design and construction. I have over 40 years in that field. And so things like this have fallen to me. So an introduction to my to the request from the Legion. So the Legion has been a vital part of the community since 1977. And when I say that, that is the current building that we're in. The Legion obviously has been around a lot longer than that. It's seen many events come through its doors over the years, ranging from small gatherings in the lounge to large events that fill the main hall. Gathering and events that are social or business or family oriented. And the Forest Legion has enhanced the quality of life for its users and hopes to do so in the future. And thus the reason for my request or our request. And like most of us, like me, the building is showing its age in many areas. And again, it needs some attention. The mission of the Legion is to serve veterans, including the military and the RCMP members and their families, to promote remembrance and to serve our community and our country. Membership to the Legion is open to all persons, but it is not a requirement to use the facilities. Again, the Forest Legion supports the Legion's mission by providing space suitable for all members of the community, including free space for seniors activities, and they include a number of activities ranging from darts, shuffleboard, cards, monthly meetings. It provides meeting space for various organizations, Ringette, Probus, Kiwanis, minor hockey, and is a social gathering space for all members and non-members of the community. The Forest Legion is one of the largest facilities of its kind in the area, if not the largest. It is unique in that it includes a licensed hall for the large groups, including uses for receptions, weddings, funerals, celebrations of life. It also includes a smaller licensed lounge for smaller social gatherings and meetings. The building is barrier-free. It's been designated as an evacuation center in case of a declared emergency. And the Legion, operates as a non-for-profit organization. The facility requires refurbishment and upgrades in order to remain viable, in order to continue to serve the community, and to support the many current and future uses. So I'll get to the ask. We are making this request to Warwick Council in hopes that the council will support our proposed projects, and in doing so, recognize the value of the Forest Legion in contributing to the well-being and the growth of the surrounding communities. We ask for the approval of council for a request for funding in so much as the municipality deems acceptable. Any funds raised or received will be used to pay for a portion of the services of contractors to complete the works of the projects, including the payment of any contractors' costs for materials and labor required for those projects. So here's a list of projects we're proposing. We have some masonry repairs required to the north wall of the building. Our main hall sports floor needs refurbishment or replacement. Many of the vinyl and carpet flooring replacements need to be done. We are looking at replacing the building audio and public address system. We are looking to enhance the hall video system. We are looking at service upgrades, improved signage, and conversion of all our lighting systems to energy efficient LED fixtures and lamps. Now, just a quick detail, if you will, of some of these projects. The north wall of the Legion is a masonry block wall, and it has two pilasters in it. The pilasters are cracking due to water infiltration over the years, and we've undertaken an investigation, and it confirms the suspicion that the reinforcing steel within those pilasters, it has rusted, and rust causes the expansion. So the expansion is cracking the concrete that's in the wall as well as the masonry. So we're undertaking to do those repairs. The main hall sports floor, it's original to the 1977 installation. And refinishing or replacement and repairs are required to repair the damaged and worn areas. We're finding that there are pieces loose, that the shuffleboard players are complaining because too many know the nuances of the floor and play them so accordingly. The courts are in use weekly, twice a day on one of the days of the week. Again, flooring, some of it's been there since the original building. It's getting worn and damaged through use. The same for the carpets. Many areas are stained and worn. The replacement of the building audio and public address system is part of our request because we are getting requests from the public who want to use the building, and that our system is a little bit outdated. So we would like to update that with all new speakers, new amplifiers, and new wireless connectivity. The same of the hall video system. We don't really have one now. And there are a number of groups that would like to see something rather than them bringing in their own equipment. We want to put in a ceiling mounted projector as well as a screen. And again, this would have wireless connectivity. The service area, this is essentially bar and kitchen upgrades. Again, replacement of dated and worn surfaces. We just want to improve customer experience. Signage upgrades, well, again, replacement of dated and worn signs. We would like some form of electronic display added. Okay, and then the conversion of lighting systems to energy efficient LED fixtures and lamps. Well, that's a cost savings to the Legion. And we are applying for whatever rebates might be available in the industry. And then that includes new controls for those lighting systems. So the costs, our budgets. The masonry repairs are upwards of $90,000. The sports floor refinishing is $21,000. The vinyl tile replacement is estimated at $11,500. Carpet replacements at $16,500. The service area upgrades, our budget is $10,000. Signage budget is $17,000. Audio and PA replacement is budgeted at $11,000. The video system add is $8,000. And the lighting systems replacement is $25,000. So that all adds up to roughly $250,000. We have paid some of the consulting fees already, and the Forest Legion would be responsible for soft costs. So really the estimated construction value, if you will, is $210,000. So just some additional information. The Forest Legion has initiated a fundraising campaign to contribute to the cost of the project. Again, the goal is $250,000. To date, we have commitments of roughly $70,000. And that has taken place over the last 2 months. We started this campaign at the beginning of the year. Again, the primary goal of the Forest Legion's current fundraising activities is in the support of those that we aim to serve. The Forest Legion contributes to the Royal Canadian Legion's overall national and local goals. In addition, the Forest Legion contributes to the community in the form of donations to the youth and seniors groups by way of the Poppy campaign and by way of the branches lotteries. While the Legion in Forest has reserved funds, we cannot use those funds because we still need to operate the facility. And for those of you who may not know, and just to repeat, the Legion is a non-for-profit organization. So most of the money that goes in for operating and Poppy and Legion goes right back out. So just in summary, I guess the Legion is looking to see if Warwick Council may contribute to our building fund campaign. We don't have any amount in mind. Anything would help. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Van Os, for your presentation. Did anybody have any questions for Mr. Van Os on this particular topic? One question I have, Mr. Van Os, have you approached Lambton Shores Council yet at this time?
We have approached Lambton Shores or you said county. Yes, we asked the county as well. And we have asked Lambton Shores through their vibrancy funds for grants.
Okay. Have you heard back from Lambton Shores at this particular time?
Yes, we have. We've been successful on a small vibrancy fund as well as their large vibrancy fund.
All right, well, thank you very much. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. Van Os. We will talk about this. We'll consider this and we'll definitely get back to you. Thank you very much for your presentation. We appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, council, we've got about 3 or 4 minutes before we get to our timed event, and that's a consideration meeting of the Sisson Drain. Let's go down to accounts if we can. Let's go to number 11, accounts. Did anybody have any questions on the GL reports at this particular time? I'm not missing Councillor Westgate on the big screen this time. I don't see anybody. Okay. How about on B, the accounts payable? Did anybody have any questions on the accounts payable at this time? Seeing no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve both. Deputy Mayor Kallenberg is moving that, seconded by Councillor Manning. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay, we're going to give it, we got 2 more minutes here. Let anybody else who wants to join in. Sam Smith will be joining us after the fact. Is he in the, oh, he's here. Oh, Sam, how you doing? It's been a long time. Good to see you. Okay. So we next piece after Sam is the consent agenda, and we'll wait and I think what we'll do is we're almost there. We'll just wait the 20 seconds, make it official on the clock, and we'll go right into the consideration meeting of the Sisson Drain. Okay, council, the next order of business today for us is a timed event for 4 o'clock, and it's a consideration meeting of the Sisson Drain. And I do have some duties and responsibilities when it comes to the drain. We're now going to proceed into the consideration of the drainage report for the Sisson Drain 2024. Any petitioner has the right to withdraw from the petition. Does anyone wish to withdraw from the petition? Seeing no one? Any other owners in the area requiring drainage have the right to sign the petition? Does anyone wish to sign petition at this particular time? Just going to wait and see if this individual is coming in. Okay, we're just going to pause for a second. Hi, how are you? So we've just started into the Sisson Drain here, just to catch you up. I'm just at the point where I've asked, is there any other owners in the area requiring drainage and have the right to sign the petition that we wish to? Anybody wish to sign it? Did anybody, I'll go back another step. Any petitioner has the right to withdraw from the petition. Does anyone wish to withdraw from the petition? Seeing none? Very good. I'm going to turn it over to Andrew Maver, our drainage superintendent, who will provide a verbal update on the drain. Andrew, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Case. Last year, the township received a request for maintenance on the Sisson Drain. Ordinarily, maintenance activities can proceed without the need for a new engineer's report. However, an administrative oversight came to light during the preparations for that request for the maintenance on the Sisson Drain. It was discovered that the report did not go to the consideration meeting that was prepared in 1980. And this is a crucial step in establishing a bylaw that would grant the township of Warwick to undertake the work on the drain and subsequently bill the landowners. To rectify this error, the township intends to present the engineer's report dated October 14th, 1980 for council's consideration. This will afford the landowners the opportunity to engage in the drainage process and grant the township the necessary authority to carry out maintenance on the cistern drain. And I can give a little bit of detail. Back in 1980, the report was prepared under section 76 of the Drainage Act, which gives the authority to prepare a new assessment schedule. And I'll leave it at that for any questions.
All right, thank you, Andrew. Does anyone present wish to ask any questions or make any comments at this time? This is a bit different, what we normally deal with, back to 1980.
I guess so.
Yeah,
So you have to re-engineer it or you don't?
please.
No, so the question was, do we have to re-engineer it? No, we do not. We can take the engineer's report as it is, as it was, and just go through the process. And there are no engineering fees.
Different landowners and that.
When the assessments will go out, when the work gets done, the names are changed. The names are never changed in the report, but they will go to the correct landowners. Yeah.
Okay,
That's correct. They use the old grade. Yep, this is simply just to prepare a new assessment schedule.
okay. Does anybody wish to ask any other questions at this particular time? Like I say, this is a different one for everybody concerned. And Andrew, you have made the statement that the names of the property owners are up to date now and have been changed?
The names will be corrected when the assessments go out for billing. But just to be clear, the names on the reports, they stay the same. Because it's from 1980, correct?
Okay, appreciate that clarification. Anybody else, anybody in council have any questions? Yes,
I
Councilor
have a quick
Morris.
one, Andrew. Is this $4,000 in 1980 dollars or in today's dollars?
That's a great question, Councilor Morris. So that is $1980. However, that was money that was spent at that time to do the work. I can only assume that was billed out at the time. That's not a reflection of what they would pay today. That's just a representative of the costs back then that they can come up with an apportionment to each landowner. Once we do the maintenance, they will be billed in today's dollars. That will not reflect $4,000. It'll be the tendered amount, whatever the contractor comes in at, and then it'll be billed based on the assessment schedule that's attached to the report.
Okay, anybody else on council have any questions? Anybody else have questions in general? All right, saying that there's not. So if the report is approved, the bylaw will be given first and second reading later in the meeting. So I'll thank everybody for coming, and we'll be in touch with everybody to let you know what the result of the meeting is today. So thank you very much for coming. Thanks. Guys. Okay, council, we're gonna go to number C. We're gonna go to 10C, and that's the operations report from Aqua. We have Sam Smith with us. Sam, do you mind coming up? You can sit right beside me up here. Just in case there's any questions. So this is the 2023 summary reports and 2023 annual report when it comes to Warwick Water Distribution System. So Sam is here. If anybody has any questions, there is a recommendation to the report is two pieces of it. One is to receive and file it, and then obviously it'll be looked after in the bylaws later on for the second piece. Did anybody have any questions in the report for Sam? Okay, seeing I don't have any questions for Sam, would somebody like to make a motion to receive and file the report? Councillor Morris is making that motion, seconded by Councillor Westgate. Any further questions? All in favor? That's carried. Well, Sam, that's the easiest presentation you'll ever make in the history of your career at Aqua. Thank you very much. What happens when you write a good report? There's no questions. Okay. Okay, council, we're going to go to number 12, and that's the consent agenda. Did anybody have any questions on A to D in the consent agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion to receive and file. Councillor Manning, you making that motion? Do we have a seconder? Deputy Mayor Kellenberg is seconding that. Any further discussion? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay. Let's go to number 13. 13A is action correspondence. It's 03-52, and it comes from Don Euphemia, and it also has to do with natural gas, a topic near and dear to our heart. How does council wish to deal with the action correspondence from Don Euphemia? Deputy Mayor Kellenberg is moving it, and seconded by Councillor Morris. And any further discussion on that? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Then we have 13B, and this is the Lambton Shores Fire Agreement, and this is the amendment to the fire agreements. Did anybody have any questions on this particular piece? This is an amendment, and there is a recommendation that goes along with this as well. Kind of a two-piece, again, bylaws we'll look after. We also have a recommendation to receive and file the report. How does council wish to deal with it? Moved by Councillor Morris, seconded by Councillor Westgate. I caught him that time. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And then we go to 13C, and that's the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund. And there's a recommendation there as well. And that recommendation is that council direct staff to proceed applying for the Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund for the Sunset Confederation project. How does council wish to deal with that? Deputy Mayor, are you making that motion? Moved by Deputy Mayor Kellenberg, seconded by Councillor Morris. Further discussion? All in favor? That is carried. These reports are well written. There's no questions. Let's go to 13D, and that is fees for service update. And there's a recommendation. This is around recreation, that Warwick Township Council approved the 2024-2025 ice rate fee for service update is recommended to be implemented as of August 24th, and that Warwick Township Council approves the addition of an outdoor tennis and sport court fee for service as recommended. How does council wish to deal with it? Councillor, well, can we get a mover and seconder and we'll have a discussion? Councillor Morris is moving it, seconded by Deputy Mayor Kellenberg. Go ahead and ask your question, Councillor Morris.
I'd like to split this into two motions. The one regarding the ice surface and then the one regarding the tennis courts, if I could, please. I'll move the ice portion.
Okay, so we had a mover and seconder for both, but that's easy. We'll withdraw the original motion. You were the mover. The seconder is okay with that. So a motion to approve the ice by itself by Councillor Morris. Do we have a seconder to that? Deputy Mayor Kellenberg. Any further discussion on the ice itself? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Now, the second piece is to do with the tennis courts. Did you have a recommendation on that, Councillor Morris?
Yeah, we've never charged that I know for the tennis court years used before. We just put these in. A lot of kids will just go up and play and stuff like that. And I hate to see somebody, because they want a specific time, to take it away from people that are using it. I don't think it's needed. I think it's a little backwards. That's my opinion.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yes, Councillor Manning?
Yeah, I have a few questions on it, and actually in regards to what Councillor Morris said, I kind of agree with that. So I'm just curious, like it does say something in there, having certain times and having other times open, like how many hours can someone rent this for? I think at $10 an hour, you know, it's very easily for somebody to be able to dominate that entire court. They could rent it for whole days on the weekends, and it becomes what's supposed to be our public court becomes a very elitist court very quickly. And I kind of fear that with that price range and the ability to do that.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Councillor Manning. Ryan, did you want to speak to that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Case. I would say those are great valid points. And certainly something that we would have to look at and address. What the permit would do is allow groups to have that certain time slot. The remainder of time would certainly be, as we've talked about here, on a first come, first served basis. It came about with some groups wanting to book a specific time, and really the only way to guarantee that slot would be through the permit process. Perhaps we look at X number of hours per day or per week would be allotted to a specific rental. Might be a workaround on that. But I agree, our courts are public. They're there for the public to come out and use as they wish on a first come, first served basis. And we certainly don't want to prohibit that by having a formal rental process.
Deputy Mayor Kellenberg.
I do like the idea in one sense that somebody can book it for a couple hours if they got a group that want to play tennis or pickleball. But one comment I guess I would make was there's 2 courts there, right? So I would make a suggestion that only one court is allowed to be rented at specific times, which keeps the other one open for the public to use whenever they wish or however they wish. So that would be a recommendation on my part, but.
Councillor Manning.
Yeah, to kind of follow up on what I was saying and then to address what Ryan was saying too, then if we were to go down that route, I would definitely like to see very limited times available for rental. I think that's one of the biggest concerns is that somebody's able to over rent that space too, especially at that price.
All right. Yes, Councillor Morris.
Yeah, I think we should have a maximum of like 2 hours. A maximum rental that somebody can make, and then I guess it's up to Ryan's supervision to make sure that Fred doesn't book for 2 hours and Joe book it for 2 hours and combine it. Like, I don't want to see this get abused.
Follow up, Councillor Manning, and then I'm going to go to Councillor Westgate.
So yeah, my suggestion on that, then rather than just have it that somebody can rent it for a limited time, I would say the rental slots available in general are very limited, like maybe 1 to 2 hours a day at most, not just for specific people or specific groups, but in general, that would be my suggestion.
Councillor Westgate.
Sorry, I believe it's a good idea to rent it out for 1 or 2 hour slots. If you want to have a tennis club or something, it's hard to, if you set a time and everybody comes and there's kids knocking balls around on the court. As long as it's posted, that's their time. And it's nice to get a little bit of money back from it. Same with pickleball and stuff in the gym. Maybe we should be charging more for it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. I guess my comment on this is that you will maybe from time to time have an organization. I'll just use an example. Maybe the Optimist Club that comes to us and says, we want to put on a tennis tournament for the day like they do with the volleyball. I think you can look at those things individually. So a club, an organization comes and says, we'd like to rent the tennis courts on Saturday. And obviously we should have a rate when it comes to something like that to charge, or maybe it's something we don't charge for when it comes to certain organizations that give back money to our community. But I think we got to be very matter of fact when we do something like that. And I agree with the other comments that have been made about you don't want one person monopolizing the courts. So I wonder, council, if it's something maybe we send back to Ryan to maybe just take a second look at and maybe try to come up with a plan that will work in taking into account the comments that have been made here today, unless there's somebody else who has something else they wish to add to it. But there is always that opportunity where somebody may come along and say, an organization, we want to put on a tennis tournament or something like that, for which obviously maybe that comes back to Recreation Committee to be blessed, and then it comes back to council as the process goes. But I think if everybody's good with it, Ryan, you're comfortable with it, I'd like to send that back to maybe Ryan with the blessing of council to maybe come back with maybe a couple suggestions or recommendations. So Ryan, are you okay with that?
Yes, I think that's great. I can certainly take the feedback and comments made today and put together some recommendations.
All right. Is council good with that then? So we'll leave that as it is for now, and we'll look forward to hearing back from Ryan. So good discussion. So we'll move on from that particular item. Are we good? Okay, great. So we're going to go to the fire hall restoration projects. The tenders are in, and there's a recommendation here before us that Warwick Township Council approves the recommendation of MTE Consultants and award the contract for the fire station masonry repairs and refurbishment in the amount of $195,000 excluding HST to Image Masonry Limited. The good news about this is I think, Mr. Treasurer, we have 600 and some $1,000 in a reserve fund already. Am I correct?
We've got 325 less last year's expenditures of 50 in engineering. So we're sitting 275 plus we put 300 away. So we're going to put money back into general reserves or it can go to another project.
Okay, very good. How does council wish to deal with the recommendation before us? Yes, Councillor Morris.
I know we discussed it during budget, this extra money that would come hopefully out of these bids. I seem to recall a little bit of discussion on having that money staying with the fire department for our much needed trucks and that. I don't think it should go into general reserves. I think it should go into the fire department reserves, so we're ready.
Yeah, we did have that specific conversation at budget time. Maybe what we can do, Councillor Morris, if we could deal with the recommendation at the 195. And then if you'd like to make a recommendation or a motion that the remainder of the money stays within the fire budget, that would be probably a good thing to do at this particular time, if that's your wishes. So do we have a seconder to the 195? Councillor Manning, thank you. Any further discussion on it? Call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Now, Councillor Morris, did you want to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the money that we had put away that we're not going to be using for the repair be put into the fire budget reserve, please.
Do we have a seconder to that motion? To go into the fire reserve? No seconder to that motion? Jerry, you're seconding it? Thank
Yes.
you. Okay, discussion. Deputy Mayor.
I just wonder if we need to, I know it needs to go to the fire. We talked about that, but I just wonder if we should maybe not put all of it in there in case we have some overruns on a few other projects. I know there's something coming up later on something else, whether we go for it or not, but that's just a comment. So I'm not opposed to that, the motion at all, but just a comment.
All right. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Trevor, did you wish to speak to that?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. By the time we are done the project, we're probably going to be 6 to 8 months before all the final billings come in. We will come back with a statement at that point in time for council to make the decision based on what actuals are, if that makes sense.
Okay, so I think Councillor Morris's motion is still okay in the sense that those monies or some of those monies go into that fire reserve. That was always the intent at budget time, and I'm not hearing anybody disagree with that. So we'll see what the actuals are at that time. And you're okay with that as the mover, and the seconder is okay with that as well, Councillor Westgate?
Yes.
Very good. Any further discussion on the issue? The intent always was to be that way, and if council's still good with that, we will get a report back from the treasurer and we'll see exactly where. Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay, let's go to F, and that's the sump pump disconnect and black water installation grant update. We see that we have some people have taken us up on the offer for $11,137.77. Looking for a motion to approve that. Deputy Mayor Kallenberg, you're making the motion, seconded by Councillor Manning. Further discussion, if any? Seeing none, call the question. Jerry, question? Councillor
Yes,
Westgate.
on the backflow preventers. Can a business apply for that? Apartments?
I think I know the answer, but let's ask. Amanda, do you want to take that one, or actually, Andrew, do you want to take that one, please?
Thanks, Mayor Case. The way the grant is written is you need to live at the residence that the backflow preventer is going in.
Okay, so it is a resident only at this particular time, the way it's written. Anybody else? Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, let's go to G if we can, council. And this is the Sunset Ave culvert size increase for council's direction. And as you see in your report, it came up to an extra $45,400, which if council agrees to it, would turn that project into a $246,100 project. increasing it by 45,400. What's council's wishes on this particular piece of business? Looking for direction. Maybe there might be a question beforehand. It's up to council. Yes, Councilor Morris.
I don't know that much about drainage. The engineers have said a 5 foot is enough. John Ruth made a great presentation with his son-in-law that why not go to the 6 when we're at it? It wouldn't cost that much more. I believe Jerry kind of said a little bit the same. Is this still smooth wall pipe or is this corrugated pipe we're back to?
Great question, Councilor Morris. This is the smooth wall pipe. Yep.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, Councilor Westgate.
So I was just gonna make a statement. I think it's for 45,000. I expect it to be a little more than that. That it's good to go along with that. We're gonna have to do work upstream on that line, on that ditch sooner or later, and the water's gonna come back there down there a lot faster than maybe it did the last time. And when we talked to Mike about just going to the 5 foot, that still would not handle a 100-year storm. And I believe we're getting more 100-year storms all the time. So I think it only makes sense to go ahead with the bigger one and get it fixed downstream and then work up farther.
Thank you, Councilor Westgate. Anybody else? Maybe Andrew, not to put you on the, sorry, Deputy Mayor, and then I'll come back to Andrew. Deputy Mayor.
No, I just agree with Jerry. I think when we're digging a hole, put in the pipe that's a little bit bigger for that much money. I thought like Jerry, it would be probably 80 or 90,000, but for $45,000, I know it's still a lot of money, but we're not digging it up in 10 years again.
Maybe just to get Andrew's comments on the bigger pipe and how it would help with the issue of the extra weather events we seem to have.
Thanks, Mayor Case. And I think Jerry touched on it. With the 1,500 may not have, rectified the issue with flooding, but the 18 may. Of course, there are other factors. It's not just a simple calculation. These are theoretical calculations. But I think going up to the 1,800 millimeter for the additional cost it's a good choice.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. Yes, Councilor Manning.
Just kind of a quick clarification question on this. We're all surprised by that number being low. Is that low because we are digging it up? If we were to sit on this and dig it up in future time, would we expect quite an increase on that?
So just a reminder, so the initial cost estimate was still 200,000. So you got to look at the whole project at being 245,000. So just the increase in pipe size, that's 20,000. Manhole, so the items that you see there in the report, that's what adds up to the 45.
Okay, anybody else have a comment or question on this? Yes, Councilor Morris.
I agree with Jerry too. I think we should go up. I guess my point, I worry a little bit is we've had 2 claims in the last 10 years of big floods. One of these days the insurance company is going to say, not going to cover you. The town hasn't done anything about it. We're making due diligence here by doing something about it. In the 45,000, that would be one person's claim for their basement. Like, when you look at the dollars and cents. So I think we should definitely go for it.
Okay, anybody else? So again, we are looking for direction. I would entertain a motion. Deputy Mayor Kallenberg.
I'll make a motion to direct staff to go up to the bigger pipe.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Do we have a seconder for that? Councilor Westgate seconding that. I want to make sure that I catch up there on the big screen, Jerry. Any further discussion on this particular issue? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. Okay, any new business at this time? Not seeing any new business. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that ends the open portion of today's meeting. And we will be going in camera. So I'm going to ask for a motion to move into camera pursuant to section 239 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended for the following reasons. Number 2, 3, and 6. A mover and a second. Moved by Counselor Morris and seconded by Counselor Manning. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you.